Hey, Industrial Talk family, I want you to be aware of a webinar that we have scheduled. You can just go out to Industrial Talk, find the webinar. It's called Post-Election Manufacturing, Adapting to New China Tariffs in 2025. Yes, change is in the wind right now. You need to educate, you need to collaborate, and you need to innovate as much as you possibly can and find out more about what is happening within the manufacturing market. We're featuring Eric Millinger and Jorge Filio, and we're going to be talking about metal casting and fabrication. This is Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, November 20th, 12 to 1. Get your seat, schedule it. But then what's best about it, it'll be on demand going forward, so fear not. Get the latest and greatest information. It is brought to you by Redstone Manufacturing. Once again, Redstone Manufacturing, great company, here to help you succeed in manufacturing. Let's get on with the podcast.
Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining you, Industrial Professional, the #1 industrial-related podcast in the universe that celebrates you as I point to you on the video. You are bold, brave, you dare greatly. I say it all the time. You innovate, you solve problems each and every day. That's why you're the center of this story for Industrial Talk. That's why we celebrate you on this platform. She's been on the show before. I think we interviewed her at SMRP, which is a great event, by the way. It got canceled by a hurricane, but that's okay. We're going to be another one right around the corner. Her name is Tara Holwegner. Yeah, I probably mispronounced her last name, but I always go just by Tara. We interviewed her at SMRP, and she never fails to deliver. We're going to be talking about LCEsmartr, their platform that takes 50 years of their experience at LCE, that's life cycle engineering, and puts it all into an educational platform that you can't help but be better from it. All right, let's get cracking. Yep. She's amazing. She's got a lot of spunk and pepper. She's a lot of fun to talk to, and she's passionate about what she does. So that's the interview coming up, and it's a bit lengthy, and we do show some slides. So if you want to go out and you want to see the slides, you want to see that presentation, go out to Industrial Talk's YouTube channel, Easy Industrial Talk, and you go out there and you find it, and you get to take a journey with Tara on the LCEsmartr platform. It's a great platform. I was dazzled by it. You know, one of the things that is always sort of amazing from this reliability asset management perspective, it never stops. It's very collegial. It's very insightful. And it is all just focused on making businesses, manufacturers, industry successful in how they manage their operations. It's in a nutshell, if I was in a nutshell. On a business side note, if you have a podcast, if you have technologies, sort of like what Tara's doing, if you have a podcast technology and you want to get greater amplification, you want to get greater attention, Industrial Talk is like the Spotify, if I can say that. Yeah, Spotify of industrial content. You need to put it out there. You need to just go out to Industrial Talk, connect with me, have a conversation, and let's make it easy, which is really important. Let's make it easy for these professionals out there that are making the world great, to get the content, get the information to educate as needed to make them a success. That's the passion behind Industrial Talk, is to hopefully just help as many people as possible. And if you want to just collaborate, because it's always about education, collaboration, and innovation from my perspective. You want to collaborate, just go out to Industrial Talk, find all of the great contributors to that site, and I guarantee you they want to have a conversation. So you need some serious Sherpas helping you along on this journey, all out on Industrial Talk. So Don't come to me and say I can't find anybody. They're there, right there. industrialtalk.com. All right, let's get on with it. This is LCEsmartr. It's a platform that takes all of the knowledge that they've gained over 50 years of asset management, maintenance, reliability, all of the stuff that's associated with it, put it into a system. And it's user-friendly. And it's chock full of incredible information. So that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be demonstrating. That's what Tara is going to be delivering. So let's get cracking with the conversation. Tara, how you doing? Welcome to Industrial Talk.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you on Industrial Talk, listeners. She's been on Industrial Talk, and she never disappoints.
I never disappoint. I love that. Okay.
You pop with enthusiasm.
Well, you bring it out. You bring it out in us, Scott. But honestly, I do think we have, something really exciting to talk about today. So thank you for asking me to come on and talk about the LCEsmartr platform, because I really do think that it has some resources, guidance, and tools that are really going to help some of your listeners and viewers.
Yeah, and if you'll be able to listen to it on podcast, but it's not going to be the same. You might want to go out to YouTube and find the recording it, because we'll be sharing the screen and we'll be looking at the solution real time as we sort of take a test drive of it. She's gonna make it happen and make it enjoyable and dazzling.
I hope so. But definitely, like you said, this session, this episode is meant to be seen as well as heard.
Yeah. There you go. I'm going to take that. I'm going to steal it.
Please do.
It's in my delivery.
So, when you and I met at the SMRP conference last year.
It was last year,
right?
Yeah.
And by the way, looking forward to this year. So all of you listeners,
right around the corner. Right around the corner. I wonder if it's going to be bigger, better, stronger, faster. I wonder if it's going to be.
I mean, it wasn't cheaper, so if it's the rest of them, then that's good. But no, you get great value out of that conference. But we talked about that was kind of the unveiling. It was a soft launch of the LCEsmartr platform, and we got to talk a little bit about it. But it's been a year since then, and so I thank you for inviting me here to tell folks more.
So it's just been out for a year.
Yeah, it is. Wow. It's really fresh. We had some early trusted partners, customers that we said, hey, we have this new platform, and we want you guys to help us see if it's everything that we want it to be. So basically, we built the LCEsmartr platform. And we call it our playbook, because it is literally everything that lifecycle engineering has learned about implementing reliability and maintenance transformations over almost 50 years. So actually in 2 years, like we were 48 years, in 2 years, we're going to be 50 years in this business. And we put it all. We put our entire body of knowledge, all of our resources, which I'm going to show you, all online. And why do we do it?
Why? I mean,
well, yeah, it for a few reasons. First of all, we have seen out there the challenges of a couple things with regarding our workforce. So knowledgeable workers, they're retiring and they're taking the expertise with them. I think you call it, what did you call it? The silver
tsunami. Yeah. Silver tsunami. I'm stealing that from somebody that he constantly, I stole it.
Well, I'd never heard it before. So
it's yours now. Silver tsunami.
It's amazing. But on the flip side of that, there's also the challenges of onboarding and training the new workforce in the most reliable, efficient, best practice way of doing their work. There's a lack, of stable, reliable systems and documentation out there that opens up your operation to risk. Outside of the workforce that's leaving, there's assets that have been in operation for a long time that are at different phases of their life cycle, maybe approaching end of life, and then huge boom in capital investments, huge growth, which is the great part of what's happening, in our industry today. Lots of investments being made in expansions. A lot of that's due to some favorable legislation, but also that the asset management, as a discipline is maturing, in our industry, and people are looking at things more strategically, and growth and expansion more strategically, and investing in that. And then, the industry 4.0, digital manufacturing, digital transformation, and all this new technology and software that's out there, but people haven't been seeing the benefits or the results that they expected by implementing or introducing those new technologies. And with life cycle engineering, I mean, that's been our whole genesis for being. We go into and we support manufacturing, industrial facilities, utilities, you name it, in developing those fundamentals, those asset management, maintenance, and reliability best practices in the core key functions of work management materials and reliability engineering. So storeroom reliability engineering and planning and scheduling. And that will enable you to transform faster, which is what we found with the playbook. It literally accelerates a reliable improvement, we've found, by about 30%. Also, okay, I hope you're going to cut this because I'm going to have a big pause.
It's okay. It's not a problem. You're rattling off a lot of stuff. I want to ask you a question about the faster. How did you come up with the fast? What does that mean? I mean, it's one thing to say faster, but I'm thinking in my head, I have an organization, and that organization needs to be sort of change management around a more reliability type of culture.
Right.
And I have the right leadership in place. They're all supportive of it. We're going to deploy it. And you're saying that this playbook, if I head down that road, this playbook also helps support that transition? What do you mean by that?
Yes. And by the way, you mentioned something that's half the battle, which is getting the leadership support that you need to have sustain change, right? Because this doesn't happen overnight. But I do want to talk about the acceleration piece of the
because I really 30%. That's, you nailed the number there, and I'm going, how do you check? How what the hey?
Well, because actually our own consultants use the LCEsmartr platform when we go on site to support a transformation. So this is not only what we've built to help customers and organizations out there that may not be able to, honestly, afford or may not have been able to get all of that internal support and investment yet to do a full-scale transformation. We built this so that organizations and reliability leaders can have a toolbox, can have a toolkit that will get them started, that will accelerate their way on their own or with limited subject matter expert coaching support instead of a full-scale transformation. But what our consultants have learned is by using this playbook, it has sped their ability to help the customers because of the, I'll show you, but because of all of the best practices that are almost 80% complete, and then we only have to change them about 30% or 20%. Sorry, that would be 110. 80-20.
It's all good. I was going to let the math slip a little bit.
Well, but that 30 was what we have found in terms of the time that we've saved in getting people to adopt the new processes and getting them to become proficient. We've been able to speed exceed that by the tools, the resources, and the reporting that's in LCEsmartr. And our consultants have had to spend less time because less time on site, and in more coaching role, because we've put so much of the effort into the system itself.
So you really, from a business perspective, you can approach another, let's use manufacturing as an example. You can approach a manufacturer where they're at, both financially and where they're at in a reliability maturity point of view too. So for example, if I'm a new manufacturer and I'm all of a sudden saying, yes, I want to be able to transform my business, but I don't have the resources, the financial resources. I can still use this playbook in a way that benefits me and gives me the information that I need. Versus, let's say I'm a mature manufacturer. I want to bolster up. I have the balance sheet to be able to sort of help financially and bring a team on board. And you can meet me anywhere I'm at in that.
Exactly. You said it exactly. You said it better than I could. So the SMRPr platform is exactly that. You find where you are, and we actually have assessments that if you're not sure, where you fall in a maturity continuum, we have self-assessments. You can actually track those assessments over time to get those resources that are going to support you where you are. And even if you're proactive, what we call a proactive operations or an excellent operations, there's always still room to continuously improve and get even better to be able to meet customer demand, or in the example of the capital expansions, to start off with those best practices. So you're a greenfield and you are starting off with everything already. Your reliable operations are designed in, right? So that's even a better
let's say I'm an organization, and we're going to get into your solution. We're going to share it, and we're going to be able to take a little test drive and kick the tires a little bit. But let's say I'm an organization, and I make the decision that I truly want to be that organization that is focused on asset management, really good asset management, good reliability. And I would imagine I'm inefficient, then all of a sudden I become efficient. You're saying, and I see this graph in my head. I can't show it to you, but it's in my head. But, so I make big leaps of efficiency in the beginning, and then I'm fighting for the smaller. But you're saying that there's always room for more and greater efficiencies as time goes on.
Right. And also to adapt, the innovations that your workforce, who's on the floor, who has good ideas, can bring to the table. But also that's the time to look at advanced predictive analytics. That's the time to look at performance monitoring. That's the time to take it to, the next level in terms of automation and digitalization. But to have those foundations in place is the only way that you're going to be as successful.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
It is.
I think the silver bullet is like all of a sudden, yes, I want to digitize my business. I want to be able to venture into Industry 4.0, but I don't have the blocking and tackling, the basics in place to ensure that I succeed. And I think that is where people, stumble and fall
and
scuff their knees.
It does, and that doesn't do well. That doesn't do well for business case for investment.
Not at all.
So that is, we've talked about a couple of different. We've talked about, I guess what they call in product use cases, right? We've for the playbook.
Hey, by the way, I interviewed the guy that came up with the term use case.
Really?
The founder. I did.
Can you get me in touch? Like, I want to meet this person.
Yeah, here's how he came up with the term use case. It was back in the early 60s, like 60. Okay. And he just said, well, we got this technology. We just need some sort of a use case, a user case. And then it just shrunk to use case. There That's it. He didn't have any desire to, didn't think that was going to blow up. He just said, we just need a user case. There it is.
Now, I mean, it's just part of the vernacular.
It is the lexicon. Yeah,
but yeah, so we talked about a couple, right? We talked about, the perhaps fledgling, or early stages of knowing that, you want to pursue some kind of change, some kind of reliability improvement, or, or aspiring to that. This could be the platform and toolkit for you. That the organization, the large scale organization that sees the competitive advantage and the business burning platform, we have to improve now, and this is, the toolkit for you. What you're talking about, hey, we want all this cool technology. It's the answer. No, we have the fundamental blocking and tackling already defined for you. So just plug and play the SMRPr playbook, and then plug and play the technology on top, and now see where you can get with actually pulling data out of your CMMS.
All right, Tara. Let's start kicking the tires here.
Okay.
Show us what you got.
Okay, I will. I also want to share that this system has been translated already. We're on our 4th language. We're going to our 5th language. So the next use case is global operations that want everyone to speak the same or have the same terminology, if you will, around reliability and asset management.
That makes sense. I agree with you 100% on that. So the 5 languages, I'm sure Spanish.
Actually not yet.
You're kidding me. Are you kidding
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, let me make a recommendation.
Yes, I agree. So, hey, customers, if you're out there listening, we've translated the system according to what our customer needs base is, and believe it or not, Japanese and German. Yes, sir. And French and Italian. So
get out of here.
Really, and then Spanish is
talk about a low-hanging fruit.
Spanish is next. I promise for North and South America. Yes. But French is going to help the Canadian manufacturers as well, and industrial operations as well. So this is the home screen of the LCEsmartr playbook. When an enterprise purchases it, we do brand it, so it looks like your system. It is your playbook. It is not Lifecycle Engineering's playbook. But I just want to kind of step through the different sections of the tool. First of all, we have an implementation guide, and the implementation guide is going to take you through what we call the 5 stages of a transformation. They range from visualize to all the way to implementation and sustainability. So if you have this implementation guide, it gives you resources, tools, and guidance, really a step-by-step instruction manual on how to lead and support a reliability transformation, from establishing why do you really need to change, getting leadership involved, business case. We actually have a business case tool in the playbook, all the way through working through your project plan with your focus teams, and then tracking your program's progress, as well as sustaining that change through regular reassessments and tracking your performance. We tell you, how long are we going to be investing time in this change. And so all of those project management and change management tools, look here, we have a case for change presentation you can send to leadership, and an online calculator you can work with your your finance folks.
Right off the bat.
Have I gotcha?
Yeah, right off the bat, if I was a reliability engineer in my organization and I'm trying to gain traction, where I'm trying to get support, I would, can I just get this and just have this as a resource? Because, man, you're hitting on some really important topics.
Well, yes. And again, like I said, it's what we've learned about implementing these best practices for over 50 years. And we put it all
Cool.
in a cloud-based online system. Look, you have all of your change management plans here, your risk plan, your resistance management plan. How are you going to be training your employees? So that is the implementation guide. But I will say, Scott, that's not all. We also have, I'm going to go into assessments. So how do you know where, we were talking earlier about your maturity and meeting you where you're at?
Yeah.
Well, we have for our core, as I described in the beginning, our core areas of foundation are reliability engineering, materials management, and work management. But we want this playbook and this platform to support the entire life cycle of your assets and your systems. So we just added recently capital delivery, design for reliability, and shutdowns turnarounds. All of our, I'm going to show you in a minute, but all of our work streams, as we call them, come complete with an assessment that is tied to what we consider our best practice process flow. So work management has 7. I'll show you more about that. It ranges from work identification to work execution and work closeout. And you can see yourself in these descriptions, in these assessment descriptions, and you'll get an overall score for how are you reactive, are you early emerging, are you already in proactive zone, and you can tailor your improvement plan to exactly, where you are on that maturity matrix.
What if I get into that and I have this assessment and I'm deemed reactive? Are there recommendations on, because you don't want to be reactive. I don't want to be reactive. I want to be proactive. I want to be insightful and all of that good stuff. Do you provide recommendations on saying you're reactive? You might want to consider some other options here.
Well, and we show you too. We show you what proactive, is best practice looks like, right? So the next area I'm going to show you is what we call our work stream packages. So if you want to go, we'll look at reliability engineering this time because that was work management. And if you go into, you can see, okay, where am I now? What should I go to next? Because you're not going to move directly from reactive into proactive.
No.
It's just, you have to move through the different areas of maturity to get to that level.
Yes.
What we can do is through the LCEsmartr platform, we can help you see what that looks like and develop a plan. But we also, whenever any enterprise purchases a subscription to the playbook, they also have subject matter expert support, and that's going to be really critical as part of your implementation to get it right. And that can vary what sort of support you may decide, and you may be able to get the support, for a full scale transformation across all 3 work streams, or you may have to prove that one works.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to help you, get there.
I think the title of that particular workflow right there, that's mega level view.
It is.
It's not just any level view. That's mega.
It's your mega level view. So these are all of the components as to what we consider a best practice reliability engineering discipline. Yeah. And then if you go into the different processes, including that work stream, we provide a single point lesson.
Yeah.
We provide a workflow diagram, which is customizable, and that's what our subject matter experts, a lot of the times help support our customers with. We also have what we call our step definitions, and we have coaching cards, which is another change management tool. This is like a Gemba walk support tool where you as a manager or as a supervisor can take a checklist, a digital checklist, and see, how are these new processes working? Are there any changes, adjustments that we need to make? How is the data? This, for example, is with asset data collection. So, how is that reflected in the in the, oops, am I there?
I gotta go back. Let me go back.
Okay.
How long did this effort? It's been in sort of production for a year. How long did it? I mean, this seems voluminous in its resource capabilities and delivering. How long did it take for you guys to pull this together? This is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. And I just want to let you know that's not all. If we go
Amazing.
we'll go again to, we'll keep playing in the reliability
Yeah,
engineering
please.
area. So in addition to all of the standard work, engineering processes and tools, we also have some practitioner tools that are specific to that discipline. So in the reliability engineering work stream, you're going to see critical spares analysis worksheets. You're going to see asset criticality calculators. You're going to see your FMEA, EMP tools, which our own consultants use. You'll have some advanced tools like a Vibule calculator if you want to play around with that. But the system also supports the growth and maturity of your program. So we also have additional resources like job descriptions. And some of our customers have really gotten a lot of benefit from just being able to take the job descriptions that we provide in the system and put them out there to hire some really qualified candidates. And we're constantly adding to the playbook in terms of resources. So over here in the additional resources tool, you might see a brand new resource pop up every quarter. We have a newsletter where we keep our all of our enterprise customers aware of what we're adding to the system. Another exciting area, and yes, it did take several years and it's constantly evolving.
It has to. You had to make the decision of saying, okay, we've got a lot of information. Let's get it into production, and then let's do the SaaS model and update it as we continue to go forward. So I'm impressed. I really am. Good job.
Well, thank you. So it did take our consulting firm, worked very, very judiciously to come up with what we call our gold standards. I'm sure you're aware Lifecycle Engineering has a Lifecycle Institute, which has been around now for almost 20 years. And so not only have we been in the consulting arena, which is the larger part of our business, but we've also been in the education for our industry. And so by developing what we call these gold standards and training people on the best practices, we realized that we had this entire body of knowledge that could be curated in such a way that it could be consumed as part of the implementation. And it wouldn't just be our secret anymore, that we could share it at a larger scale.
Amazing.
Yep. And also let more of our consultants impact more operations. But the next one of our most exciting, I think, areas of the playbook, and one that our customers are very committed to, is the e-learning. So here you see 3 of our e-learning courses. We have 6, and we have 2 more in development for capital and design for reliability. So these are transformations of our 3-day in-person instruction into online courses. So we're talking about 6 to 8 hours of e-learning. Now, the beauty of this is that the way that we have designed these courses is that they're highly modularized. So we don't expect the full organization to take all 6 to 8 hours. Actually, some of our customers do, because they believe that every, maintenance and reliability best practices is how we run our business, and you need to understand, how we work and how we live. But you can take modules or lessons out of these courses and level set the entire organization. So you have a knowledge baseline around enterprise-wide, a knowledge baseline around maintenance, reliability, and asset management best practices. Another
Wow.
neat tidbit is we have moved our reliability engineering certification online, and we have 4 universities that partner with us for this certification, and you can actually get the coursework done for the certification in the SMRP playbook. There's still some work outside of that you have to do, but you can get a lot of the learning done. This is huge for our clients that have stayed with us over time, because they have a system where they can onboard new people or refresher training or professional development, and skill building, upskilling and reskilling, all through the playbook.
How does it's great, no doubt about it. I'm dazzled by it, overwhelmed. How do you, speaking of being overwhelmed, drinking from a fire hose,
It's a lot.
how do you help organizations to sort of take small bites and take this massive store of information and then methodically go through it in such a way that benefits them the most? That's one question. And then the second question is, what if I go through this process and then I have a feedback? Is there a feedback loop that I can go back to lifecycle engineering and say, hey, thought I'd just feed this back?
So absolutely. The second one might be easier and quicker to answer. So we do have a team. Like I said, when you purchase an enterprise version of the playbook, you're going to have some subject matter expert support and point of contact, so that that individual can help you along the way. And if you find that you need more help, then of course that can always be arranged. We also have a dedicated communications channel for all of our customers. We want every customer of lifecycle engineering, but of course of the playbook, to be a success story. So we are constantly staying in touch with the reliability leaders and the point of contact, and helping them understand how can they make the most out of their LCEsmartr playbook, and where else could they use, some support or some guidance if it's currently not in the playbook. The way that we grow is to get feedback from our customers and clients on what do they need, what may be missing, or what can we help you with that we can expand the playbook on. You talked about feedback, so we do have a reporting dashboard for the leaders of the playbook. So in this way they can see, okay, what is my login activity? Who's using the playbook? How often are they logging in? If potentially if there are some improvement efforts going on at a particular site. That's the other thing. We can organize the SMRP platform in such a way that you can have multiple sites, multiple groups. We have one customer that has over 600 users and over 30 sites, and we are measuring all of the activity that goes on the playbook, and they can easily filter and get the reports that they need on what's happening at different sites. So this is where you can monitor your training activity that happens in LCEsmartr. We also measure, what kind of resources are people interacting with. And then with regards to the feedback loop and the workstream assessments, and being able to measure the assessments over time is huge in terms of being able to, see, okay, I was doing great, but maybe I've slipped, and where are my areas of opportunity, or what site may be doing some excellent things, and we want to be, using that site or the efforts that are ongoing there as an example. But yes.
And I sorry, this has just sort of popped into my head. Can you translate this into some benefits, the real hard dollar benefits as I continue to train. Let's say I bring this particular tool into my organization. It is accessed, enterprise wide. I'm tracking and monitoring all of the learning. Are you seeing it also translate into why we are benefiting from this? Why asset management, reliability, that is important?
Right. So I would just go ahead and stop sharing if that's
Yeah,
okay. So we
sure.
could
Look at
just
you.
talk. But hi. So we again, especially for the organizations that go through a full transformation with us, we can get down to the nitty gritty of, how, since we have made these improvements, what has been the impact to your OEE? What has been the impact just to your availability? Because we do have a lot of customers that come to us. They are not going to expand, or they've already made some plans to expand, and we say, well, wait a second. You've got so much availability. You've got a whole other factory in there that you don't even know about. You don't need to build a new facility. You need to get the most out of what you got now. And you can make that. So we do have those business cases that we go in and we can make those specific monetary returns. What we have found, though, in terms of what the training specifically has done and in LCEsmartr has done, we get back from our evaluations. So the employee engagement, and that's a huge thing about keeping people in retention, is giving people the opportunity to grow and to develop. And the employee engagement rates in terms of, I can apply what I've learned. The training was really valuable. All of our e-learning has action plans, and it's insane to me, the evaluation results that we've gotten from this e-learning. 90% of people has said, I believe I can apply what I use. We're at like 92, depending on, we do have quite a few customers, now, who are utilizing the playbook, and we're just seeing off the charts things that I don't see in public in-person classes, in terms of results of how people feel that the learning is valuable and that they can use the resources and use what they learned.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you will see, in terms of the efficiencies that, in terms of the efficiencies that you can see through the improved, work effectiveness, that comes with savings. You can also, when we go into the storeroom and we're getting rid of, spare parts for assets that you may not even have in your organization anymore, you're lowering your carrying costs. You're only keeping the critical spares that you need, and you've got a plan to save on, whatever lead time or shipping that you may have, so there are definitive savings, there as well.
Wow. That's cool. I'm. This is really impressive.
It's empowering, right?
It is. It really is.
Well, and
this is sort of.
that's
Go ahead.
That was life cycle engineering's,
See, this is why the rub always happens with reliability. Sometimes it's how do we sustain it? How do we sustain that culture? Keep it moving forward. Keep on improving upon it. Keep extracting greater value out of that very important asset. It's always dealing with people and how do you sustain it. This seems like a tool that really promotes that sustaining that effort, because it's important stuff. I like it.
We always say we focus on people, process, and then technology. And with that, we can enable everybody to come to a safe environment to work, an efficient environment to work, where they can be proud of the work that they do, and proud of what they're producing, for all of us, whether it be energy, whether it be food, whether it be my favorite beverage or a needed medicine, that's what we're here to facilitate.
If somebody's listening and they're saying, "Hey, my gosh, that's the cat's meow. That's the best thing since sliced bread." I'm running out of words to say. Anyway, if somebody says that, what is the best way to be able to start this conversation?
Oh, well, all they need to do is they can go to LCE.com. They can email info@LCE.com. They can come see us at SMRP. But we are available to do an in-depth demo. We're available to help you build business case for your leadership. We're just here to talk about what's going on and how we can help. See,
Tara, you were great.
Thank you.
You
well, thanks for the opportunity to show.
Shoot, I like that.
Like I said, we actually call it a revolution in reliability excellence. 50 years in the making.
I think I like it. I definitely will adopt that, because this is outside of the podcast, which if you're listening to the podcast, you got to see the video. This is a great tool for you to consider if you're in the world of asset management, reliability, and you're one of those engineers that are looking for a never-ending source of insights and education. This SMRPR platform, this playbook is love it. I love it. Well done to LCE and you. Good job.
Thank you, Scott, and thanks for the time today.
Love it.
Listeners and watchers, yes, please just come to LCE.com and just shoot us a note. Find me on LinkedIn. We're here.
Love it. All right, listeners, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. We're going to have all the contact information for Tara out on Industrial Talk, so stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
That's Tara. She's quite chirpy. She's very passionate. And Team LCE, very passionate about your success in the world of asset management, reliability. And it's a game of education. What is the latest and greatest? You have all this innovation that's happening out there in industry right now. How do you keep current? You need a team like LCE to be able to be a part of your partner and your group and your team to be able to keep current with all of the things that are happening out there in industry. Yeah, big time. All right. Again, 1, you have a podcast, an industrial podcast. You put it out on Industrial Talk. 2, if you have technology that you truly want to amplify, you put it out on Industrial Talk. It's simple and easy peasy. You want to be on a podcast? You give me a call. Go out to Industrial Talk and you will find me there. All right, be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Tara. Change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.